Welcome to One Man's Tracks, the secondhand music channel, to the formidable episode F of the A to Z collection, consolidation, foundation, formulation, collaboration, where I go through each and every artist from each and every letter that I can think of, research them, gather them, find them, and put them into my collection to show off to you, and so you can share with me your absolute favorite F bands and fill in all the many, many blind spots I have. I need to know all the fearless, fantastic, fabulous, uh, fierce, flamboyant, fast paced, fiery F bands you know. Tell me about them. Share with me down below. Let's get into the very few that I've talked about so far. Here's a F band playlist that only includes Faith No More and Fucked Up. I'll be adding one very shortly to that because, man, oh man, there are far too many phenomenal, I know it's a P word, but F bands I need in this collection that I haven't even got yet. So I'll show you what I've got, tell you what I want, and you know the rest. Fill me in. Let's go. From the top to the bottom. Starting with the FAs, we got Fabulous Thunderbirds, Fall Out Boy, Fatboy Slim, and Fats Domino. Maybe a D band there, but I think of them as an F band. What a flamboyant assortment of fusions there are in this collection already. First five there. Lupe Fiasco, Fiery Furnaces, Fishbone, Filter, Fighting Jacks, Finch, The Fix. We've got classics like The Flaming Lips, and not so classics like The Flashing Lights. Fleetwood Mac, Flight of the Conchords, if you want some funny, those guys got it. Florence and the Machine, Flux AD, you might learn about them soon. Foo Fighters, Foreigner, Foxygen, Frontline Assembly, a little bit of leave action going on. Fuel, Fuji's full-blown AIDS. What a frugal find. How do I get that in a thrift shop? Who knows? Boo Schnickens, as well as the band Fun. Those are the F fans I've finally managed to put in one place for the time being, so let me know. Force as many fuzzy, funky fusions as you can in my face. I've got a huge list of awesome F bands that I need to get and add to this fabulous F band collection. Starting with a band that released a tremendous record last year. I think they're pronounced Facs, F-A-C-S. Faces, Failure. One band I absolutely need to add is The Fall. Why are there no secondhand The Fall albums anywhere? Stingy. False Reality. I don't know if that came out this year or last year. New record. Check them out. Phantomas. Every letter's got a Mike Patton project in it. This one's got two. Father John Misty. I think I've only got a vinyl of his. Gotta get CDs. Fear, as well as Fear Factory. The Feelies. Fela Kuti might be a K band, but we gotta throw some big props out to the Fela man. Felt. Fences. Sam Fender. Underrated record, I think, last year. I just got into it recently. Pretty nice stuff. Fever Ray. Fun. The Field Mice. First Aid Kit. Fishmans. I might come across that one of these days, considering how popular they've been getting. Fingers crossed. Fits in the Tantrums, bound to come across one of these days. Fits of Depression, probably never gonna find. Five Finger Death Punch, Inevitable. FKA Twigs. A couple of bangers last year if you count that remix album. Fleet Foxes, Desperate Need. Floating Points, also Desperate Need. Flowbots, probably might find. fingers crossed, I can ride my bike absolutely with no handlebars. A Flock of Seagulls, Flogging Molly, Flop, new band I just discovered, promising stuff. Flory, Flume, Flux Pavilion, the Flying Burrito Brothers, probably more likely to find a vinyl of that. Flying Lotus, ooh ah. Flying Saucer Attack, Foals, Foghat, Folk Implosion, Folly, Fontaines DC. Need some more romance in my life always. Fort Minor, The Foundations, Fortet, Foxwarren. If you haven't listened to 2 yet, fabulous! What a great record. Phragma, Peter Frampton, Hannah Francis, another beautiful singer-songwriter. Highly recommend keeping up with what she's doing. Frank Ocean, Aretha Franklin, and I just found out she's got a couple of real talented sisters as well. Frankie and the Witchfingers, new F-Band find, new F-Band album. Go and try it. Frankie Goes to Hollywood, Fred Again. I was a sucker for last year's Fred Again project. So many cool collaborations. Band called Free. Greg Freeman, also a album I didn't quite get into last year that I found going through this little list here and quite enjoyed. Greg Freeman. Frida, Friendship. Ooh, that album probably should have made my list this past year. Definitely worth checking out. Frightened Rabbit. Freako. Fingers crossed we get a new Freako release this year. I think we're due for one. Robert Fripp. I need some Frippin' Eno or something in here. Front 242 to just add to my frontline assembly. They would fit right in nicely together. Fudge Tunnel, another F band I discovered due to looking up all the F bands and finding a funny name. These guys rock. Fugazi, absolute necessity, foundational punk album that everybody needs. Funkadelic. I've got a vinyl over here, but Funkadelic on CD, at least some kind of comp. Funk Dubious. I could probably go for a future album if I found a frugal way to get one. There's some definite bangers there. Future Islands, and finally, Fuzz. So, I'm forever stuck. This frivolous, frugal tower of power will never stop growing. So, like I always say, fill me in. Let me know all the fantastic F-bands. Subscribe for more. I'll see you on the next F-band review, as well as episode G, coming to you shortly. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you on the next one.